Bam, here we are once again, Ward Wrestling Live. It's our 11 a.m. and we've got another amazing coach out there in our country. His name is Anthony Sandoval. He is the boys and girls high school wrestling coach at John F. Kennedy High School up in Denver, Colorado. So he's living that high life, baby. And he's a Colorado State placer out of Arvada High School, been wrestling since he was 7 years old. And man, he's here to talk wrestling, talk Colorado wrestling, and just kind of chat for a bit with us. Hey, what's up, Coach Sandoval? Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Man, talk about life right now. I mean, I know it seems like we're coming off to the other side of this Corona thing. So I'm hoping that we're on the other end of this, but talk a little bit about how it's affected your off season and what you do with your kids.
Yeah, man. It has impacted our off season tremendously. When I first started over there 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't do off season. It was just wrestling wasn't a big deal. And we turned that around where we wrestled year round pretty much. I've got some great assistant coaches that helped me with that. This year we were finally getting the wheels moving. We were going to take a few kids up to Virginia Beach. And I think it was the week or two before, they ended up calling all this stuff, which really sucked. And was a downer, especially for some of my seniors. They really wanted to go out there. But we've been doing some online virtual stuff. We were going Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for a little bit. Just doing some workouts, throwing a couple of wrestling drills in there. Obviously we can't do too much with it because you got to have a lot of contacts to do some good stuff.
What's Colorado wrestling letting you guys do? Are you starting to? I know the USA wrestling return to match and stuff has come out. Is Colorado letting you guys get back into the rooms yet?
Not yet. So we're still doing a lot of the virtual stuff. My athletic director, he told me August 1st is when we can kind of start messing with some of that kind of stuff, getting back into the room maybe a little bit. So that really sucked. The kids, that was not what the kids wanted to
hear. Yeah, I mean, you're getting a lot of the practicing in the basement, practicing in the garage kind of stuff.
Yep.
Little group outings in the neighborhoods, I'm sure, right now.
Yeah, go roll around in the grass, something.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And nothing like that Denver weather, man. Hey, so talk a little bit about JFK Wrestling up there at Denver, your program, your culture, your philosophy, what's important to you in the rooms.
Yeah, like I said, before I started there, wrestling, it wasn't in the last 3 years, we took, I think, seven kiddos to state in the last 7 years, where they hadn't really had anyone there. So my biggest thing when I first started there, I'm trying to get kids in, I'm trying to get them coming in, and I just tell them all from day one, what's your goal? If it's being a state champ, if you want to place, make it to state. One kid told me he wanted to get in better shape for the military, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to be on you when we're doing conditioning then. So I just really asked them all that, and that's kind of how I'm starting to get the hook and get more people out. It might not be their number one sport, but at least we can fill a team and be competitive. So past couple of years, we've been doing pretty good in our league. So
yeah, and hopefully they get addicted and they're in.
Then they love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that you have 2 programs, boys and girls. Yep. I'm guessing girls in Colorado are sanctioned. It is a state sport.
This upcoming school year, 2021, will be the first CHASA sanctioned year. They've done a pilot program for a few years now, and so they're just starting to do that. So girls and boys state, I think, will be down at the Pepsi Center this year.
Nice, good for them. And how important has it been to get girls sanctioned and just to grow the sport?
Yeah, for me personally, it's a huge deal. When I started, I think I had 1, maybe 2 girls. And then, I work in the building at Kennedy, and I just walking down the halls, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" "Okay, you're gonna come try wrestling." Or my managers. I think I've had five managers over the years that I strung along that I'm like, "All right, hey." They're like, "Oh, I could do this." I'm like, "Well, come on, come do it then. Come on out."
I love it.
And they love it. So it's great. My dad, he coaches at Arvada High School, and one of the kids, she beat an Arvada kid. It was before they had the split with the girls, and man, she was so excited and so pumped to beat that kid from Arvada. And she said, "I wouldn't let you down, coach. I'll beat him."
I love that. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, man. So what is Colorado wrestling? Talk about it. What is it, a sport that, like down here in Florida, we're growing, we're getting there, but people say Florida, they think football. People say Texas, they think football. Indiana, they think basketball. Colorado, man, is wrestling up there?
We're getting up there. We're still behind football, I think. And I don't know that would ever change, unfortunately. But I do think we're coming up. We're starting to be a lot more competitive. You see a lot more kids, instead of just being in-state, going to some of these colleges to wrestle in-state. They're branching out to some of these other schools, and you see state, and you try to figure out what weight kids are going to go, and maybe I should bump them up, or maybe you should cut down for the last couple of weeks. Man, there's no easy weights. You just go out there and you say, "All right, let's try to pop you in."
Let's do it, man. And talk a little about that. I know we were speaking off the air before we jumped on. It's a little different. Club and youth is a little different up there in Colorado, right? I mean, basically your high school program is your wrestling program and your off-season program, right? Club and youth is a little.
Yeah. Club and youth are a little different, especially youth. They try to, especially at some of the my school and some other schools, just try to keep us as head coaches, maybe some of our assistant coaches, but us as head coaches out of coaching the youth, being super involved in the youth, just so it doesn't portray as recruiting, because we have what's called choice enrollment. So a kiddo can live way south and he can go to a school way up north, as long as the school.
How do you grow the grassroots then? Like, how do you get kids at 5, 6, 7, 8, 6th grade? How do you get the rest?
That is the super tough question. We do have a youth program at the school. It is maybe 15, 20 kids as of right now. So we're getting kids still to wrestle. It's the hook to get them to stay at Kennedy, or somewhere around us, because it's impossible to say, "Oh, you're going to wrestle for our youth program." Well, you have to wrestle for high school, especially when they're 5, because sometimes stuff does happen. They move up north because they actually do move. But yeah, it's really hard. Some schools have figured it out up here in Colorado, but I'm still trying to figure out how to make that pretty successful. We get a few kiddos every year, which is nice, that know a little bit of something. I think this year, this next school year, I'm not going to have any kids coming in as freshmen that know how to wrestle. So might be kind of a tough year.
Yeah. Hey, I guess you got to go with the flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your wrestling career, Coach Sandoval. Tell us about your youth wrestling. I'm guessing for your dad at Arvada. If you wrestled at the next level of college or anything, and what wrestling kind of has meant to you, kind of as a vehicle in life.
Yeah, totally. So I grew up. I started wrestling at probably about 7 or 8 years old. Just something fun for me to do. My dad got me into it. He wrestled at Mapleton, which is now, they tore that school down. And it's now the Skyview. So he got me involved in it. We wrestled at Skyview Youth Program for, I don't know, I think my whole entire life. Going to some of the bigger national tournaments, going out, having fun, doing a bunch of stuff. And then I got to high school, started wrestling here at 112 pounds, ended at 152 pounds. Yeah, and that was a fun ride. I placed sixth in high school when I was wrestling here at Arvada. We had a couple other state champions, 3 other state champions actually, Dwight, Marcos, and Garrett. And we only took 4. I think it was only 4 guys that year to state, and we took 4th as a team.
Wow.
So yeah, it was great. I think we lost third place by a half a point too to Discovery Canyon that had a lot of kiddos that year. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We would go to Virginia Beach, wrestling year round, going all over the place. And I did not go to college to wrestle. I looked at a couple of places, but I decided that I wanted to stay home. I'm kind of a family body, so didn't want to go out anywhere.
That's okay. Hey, education is the most important thing, right? You got that, and you came back. Now you're giving back to the sport that gave to you, and I mean, that's pretty dope. So you had mentioned the Skyway Youth Program.
Skyview.
Skyview. Okay.
Yep.
So what is there? There's like local youth programs that you can wrestle at, almost like AAU or whatever.
Yeah. What a lot of people in Colorado here do, they kind of like piggyback and feed off of the high schools around them. And the coaches just go in there. Some coaches get charged for the room. Some coaches or programs get charged. Some programs don't. And they've got a bunch of different leagues that you can join, either as independent or you can join their league and be in it. They do Saturday leagues where you can go, Sunday leagues, because a lot of those coaches help out with high school still. So Sunday leagues are a little bit more popular, at least when I was coaching the youth program.
So you just have to be, but you have to be an independent coach. You can't.
Pretty much, yeah. I think they have got to register with USA Wrestling or something along those lines. Their club underneath it, and everyone to have that USA Wrestling for that insurance part and all that stuff. But
they can't. What you were saying earlier, you can bring your kids there. You just can't be the coach there.
Correct.
Okay. So that makes sense. So I think that's like that during the season here. Like there's a lot of high school coaches that have wrestling clubs, but I guess they can't represent themselves as the club during the high school season, because you know how I guess like FHSAA say you can only travel a certain amount of times during the year, and they're kind of being strict on that. So I'm sure like Colorado would do the same thing. And then, as far as out of state stuff, but then I said to somebody like a club owner, well, what keeps the high school coach to say, okay, we're not going today as ABC High School, we're going today as ABC Club. Well, during the season, I guess FHSAA said you can't do that. So there are some definitely to keep people from
line, right? Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow.
So it's interesting. Man, so what are your goals now? I guess August 1st, they say the room can open back up. Now that's your room is obviously the high school gym, right?
Yeah, so we have one big main gym, and then we have like a collapsible wall, and that's kind of like an auxiliary gym, but that's where we have our wrestling practices at.
So it looks like the public schools and the private schools and the educational facilities are going to start to open up and allow some sort of, I guess, athletics to start to happen.
That is the date they gave us. I'm hoping for it. So, with spring sports and what had happened, they said, April 6th. Oh, and then the end of April. Oh, now spring sports is canceled and everything else. So I'm hoping they stick to the August 1. And then we can get back in the room rolling around.
How many did you guys have a girls like state championship? Not maybe like down here, there's a girls state championship. It's not sanctioned yet to where it'll be at the Civic Center, kind of like what you said. They'll all go to the Pepsi Center now. How many girls were you may not know exactly, but on average, how many girls you think were at the state tournament this year in Colorado?
Oh man, let's see. They did 3 regions and they took top 5 to the state. So there was a bye in each bracket, and let's see. I think there's 11 weights. So I'm no mathematician, but 11 times 15, so maybe a couple hundred.
Nice. Yeah, they had at the girls state tournament this year, it was like 300 something, which is huge. Talking to some of these coaches, they said 5 years ago there was 60 girls there. So,
Yeah, it's been super small.
and then like I talked to one of the coaches in Jersey, and they were at 700 girls at theirs. So,
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, we started off really small. I was coaching at Golden High School before I coached here, and we had two girls over there. And at that time, I was kind of going with them a lot to tournaments, and they were very small. But I didn't mind it because the tournaments ended way early.
get back home, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right, man. I got some questions for you. Ready?
Yeah, totally.
All right. So, are we going to? Do we prefer Breckenridge or Vail?
Oh, for what?
Winter time.
Winter time. I don't get to do a whole lot during the winter with wrestling. So I will have to probably say Vail. I'd like to go up there and me and my girlfriend, we take our dogs, we go up there and hang out a little bit. But summer, probably Breckenridge. We go out there, go driving around. We'll camp a couple of days. We'll go in a hotel a couple of days. So I guess
it's only what, like 30 minutes from you, Breckenridge, right? It'd be
about maybe a little bit closer to an hour.
Because Vail is 2, right? 2.5.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. You prefer skiing or snowboarding?
Oh man, snowboarding. I don't do either a whole lot. Just because I'm super busy. I'm always coaching either wrestling or some other sports that they try to get me to do at Kennedy. But I definitely prefer snowboarding. I personally just think it's a little easier.
I like it. Are you a Broncos fan or a Rockies fan?
Rockies. Yeah, I'm sure maybe some other wrestlers agree with me, but I don't like football. I don't know why. I tried to get into it when I was younger. I never wanted to play. I never wanted to watch it. I never wanted to do anything.
And that's okay.
Big baseball fan, so.
And it's a great view of the Rockies from the baseball stadium.
Yes.
All right, so there's a couple of these big tours they do in Denver. They got a craft beer tour or a Denver food tour.
Oh, that's tough. I am gonna go with we didn't get to go to it, but there was a what do they call it? A tequila and taco one.
I'm down.
Best of both worlds. So they just
totally tequila and tacos. You're talking my language. I love it.
You pay a flat fee, you get tequila and tacos.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to drink tequila that much anymore because I was found underneath a truck. So my wife cut me off a few years ago. I can only have it sparingly. You go Nuggets or Avalanche?
That's a tough one. I don't really watch either one, but I will probably have to choose Avalanche.
All right. So up there's a couple of big delicacies. You go lamb or bison?
Definitely lamb.
You go halibut or trout?
Trout.
And then
tough ones.
And then here's the risky food up there that people like to mess with. You go Rocky Mountain oysters or smoked rattlesnake?
Oh God. I don't think I've never had either. I don't know that I
I don't know.
Want to have either.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if I had to try one of them, I'd probably lean towards the snake.
I think I would too.
I'm not into fried balls. I'm down. I'm out. I mean, they may be good, but
yeah, no thanks. I don't think I'd be able to gut it. No.
Hey, so up there they got that cold brew because that's the beer of state, and then they got those hottie toddies up on the mountains. You going cold brew or hottie toddy?
Cold brew.
And then so you can't beat Colorado any time of the year. But for you and your family, you prefer those Colorado winters or those Colorado summers?
I prefer the summer, mostly because I work at the school and I get all summer off.
And you can get up to, what I love about up in the mountains, we went up for the summer, and so I live in Florida, right? A lot of poisonous snakes and things in the rivers and the animals in the lakes and whatever. But you go up to Colorado, they can't live up in that air up there. So you can walk around in the rivers, and the worst you got to worry about is maybe a bear coming after you, but they're not going to come after you when you're fishing.
Nope.
So it was awesome. You can sit in the beauty of the water, feel safe, not have to worry about anything. And we had a good time. And man, we got up there, I think it was like June. So I think it had just got to the point where the rivers finally unfroze. I guess it takes time. So I say June, and people are like, oh my goodness, it takes that long. Well, we're all the way up in the mountains. So for the ice to kind of fully dissolve, I guess it takes a few months. But man, I remember putting on those rubber boots and jumping in there to try to learn how to fish, fly fish. And it was cold, man. It was cold.
Yeah, you better not fall in there.
But we had a blast, man. We hit those ATVs, four-wheelers. We did that up there outside of Vail. And man, we just have a great time. We come up there, man. And I love it, man. I can't wait to get back there. And we'll have to have a beer together next time I come up to Colorado.
Yeah, man, totally. Call anytime you're here.
For sure, man. I'll message you my cell phone and everything, and we can exchange information, and it'll be fun, man. Even if sometimes we stay up at Vail or Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek seems to be a lot better for like families. Not that Vail, the Vail people, I'm not attacking you, but during the holidays, Beaver Creek is kind of smaller and more kind of child oriented. So we go there. We do love Vail, everybody. Vail's awesome, but Beaver Creek is just our thing, and we have a good time up there. So if you're up in Vail, if you're up in Beaver Creek, hit up that Hooked. Okay. All right, brother, man. Hey, like I started this back in April 6th. I think you're like 126 or something. I don't know, but it's dope. I love what everyone's doing for wrestling. I started it because everybody in wrestling is amazing, and I appreciate and I'm honored to speak to another person in the wrestling family. And I did yesterday. I kind of did a moment of silence. I guess you guys lost somebody up there in the wrestling community.
Yeah.
So it seems like he had been a long time coach in the area. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Colorado family and the Colorado wrestling community.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, all right, my brother. Hey, take it easy. And listen, man, if your dad ever wants to come on and talk Arvada wrestling, just send him my link, man. I'm down.
Cool. I'll let him know. We're actually I'm helping him move some mats right now. So moving them into his building. You got some new ones.
Oh, good. I've got a gentleman with Resolite coming on. So
nice.
I'll get to learn about mats.
Right.
All right, brother. He's also with the NWCA. So you'll be able to hear some good stuff about the National Wrestling Coaches Association. He's the director of scholastic leadership and academics. So
sweet.
It's Bud Head involved. So that'll be great. It'll be fun to talk to him. But next up, live on Ward Wrestling Live at 1, I will have assistant coach of the Citadel coming on. So stay tuned for the Citadel. That'll be fun. And once again, Coach Sandoval, I love you. Appreciate everything you're doing. And you take care of yourself, okay?
Hey, right on. Thanks so much, man.
Yes, sir.